Hey guys, welcome to a segment of the Grind Never Stops podcast. Today we'll be talking about the NHL playoffs and the new form that they had last season. But today it's the officially start of the new form, as there's 4 divisions, and we'll tell you how it works, and then we'll tell you the rest on our predictions and on the disappointing teams and the surprising teams. So we'll start with the North Division, and as every division they have a sponsorship. So for the North is obviously Scotia. So before that, the top four teams in each division qualify for the NHL playoffs. It's not the top 8 teams in every conference. As there's the North Division, there's the East Division, there's the West Division, and there's the Central Division. So let's start with the North Division. Well, in every division, the top 4 teams will qualify for the playoffs. There's no play-in, and there's no wild card teams. So the first team in every division will play the last qualified team, and then the second place in the division will play the third team. And in the next round, because the first 2 rounds will be in the division. So the North will play the first and the fourth, second and third. The winner of these series will play together, and the winner of that will be the winner of the division. But the North Division will play against the East Division, obviously, and the West Division will play against the Central Division, and so forth. But now we would like to tell you the surprising teams. So for the West, it was really surprising with Nate McKinnon-led Colorado Avalanche as they won the division. And Vegas has been playing well since they came in the league, but they have been playing well this season with 40 wins. And Colorado has a tiebreaker over Vegas, and that's why they won not only the division, but they won the President's Trophy. And Minnesota was also a surprising team as they struggled all year long last season, but they picked up the pace. St. Louis Blues, who were expected to not make the playoffs, they made it in the last couple of months. Arizona, all high market teams. Arizona, Los Angeles, San Jose, and the Anaheim Ducks did not make it, as all of these teams have great players, but they couldn't get it done, especially on the defensive end, because Anaheim, San Jose, Los Angeles, and Arizona had more goals against than goals for. So now we move to the Central. Carolina, we knew that they're a better team than they were like 3, 4, 5 years ago, but they have picked up. And the next team that's surprising is the Panthers. They have surprised everyone with 37 wins on the season. And the Tampa Bay Lightning have struggled all season long on the road, but they've been strong at home. Also, Nashville won the matchup against Dallas in the last months, and Dallas are runners-up in the Stanley Cup final last season, and they will miss the playoffs. Chicago, we knew that they weren't good because Jonathan Taves did not play a single game this season. And Detroit are struggling. When the Columbus Blue Jackets, you thought that they could get some wins under their belt after trading for Patrick Laine. For the North, The only team that was surprising was the Montreal Canadiens making the NHL playoffs. The Jets, they're good. Edmonton has McDavid and Draisaitl, and Toronto won the division for the first time in a long time. Calgary struggled all season long, and the Canucks too, but Ottawa, even though they missed the playoffs, they ended up being 23 wins, 28 losses, which is good for a team that has a bunch of nobodies. And last but not least, the East Division, as you know that it was going to be that way. It's the Penguins, Capitals, Bruins, and the New York Islanders made it. The Rangers, you knew they weren't going to make it, but it was surprising that they ended the season 4 games over 500. The Flyers, you always knew they always had bad goaltending. Devils and the Sabres were the most shocking team, I think. They had some big stars and they traded them, but I expect them to be at least top 4 in the East Division. But that's it for the standings. We will talk about the awards in another segment, but let's continue what we wanted to show you, which is our brackets and our predictions. And I'll be sharing the screen so you guys can see my predictions. As you can see, this is the bracket challenge on NHL.com. You're welcome to make your bracket of your own and join the league. We have joined the official National Hockey League bracket. So, as I told you before, the North Division will play the East, and then the West will play the Central. But the first 2 rounds is between each other. So the Toronto Maple Leafs, who were first in the North, will play the number 4 Montreal Canadiens, and the Oilers will play the Winnipeg Jets as a 3rd seed. So we'll start with the North and then we'll go all the way down. So Toronto, it's gonna be a nice playoffs between Toronto and Montreal, as it's a rival teams, and they've been facing each other in the 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s. But in the last 2 eras, they haven't been able to face each other in the playoffs. And it's going to be nice to see. And we hope that they'll be able to have fans to be in that. But fans or no fans, it's going to be nice to see. But as a Leaf fan, not just because I'm a Leaf fan, but the Leafs are way better from the offense, from the defense, from everything you could possibly think of on the ice. The Leafs are better. And yes, the Leafs have goalie controversy between Red Hot Campbell and coming out from injury Frederik Andersen. But as you know, Frederik Andersen is the franchise goalie. But we'll see if Frederik Andersen struggles in the first game or 2. Don't be surprised if they put Campbell in for game 3, game 4, or even game 2. And you don't know who's starting game 1. But it's expected to be Frederik Andersen, but we will see. And we'll see if Carey Price can lead this team to the finals, even though they don't have big bodies. But I got the Leafs winning. I think the Leafs will win in 5 games. The reason I give Montreal Canadiens 1 because Montreal always comes up firing against the Leafs. So I think that, I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout every game. It's going to be tight, close game. But I think the Leafs have the better team. And the Canadiens will probably win 1. I give them 1. Maybe they'll get a blowout win or overtime. So the Leafs will advance to the next division playoffs round, and between the Oilers and the Jets. And I think this series could go to 7 games. And goalies, I think the Jets win the matchup between goalies, but defense, I still got the Jets too, but offense, the Oilers are really good, but the Oilers will go where Connor McDavid and Draisaitl takes them. And I know both of these players don't need to score 50 goals each to win, but they need both of these players to have a great game offensively and defensively as well. But I got the Oilers winning in 7 games, and it'll be a tight 7 games. And I still feel that the Oilers will come up victorious in overtime in games, and I can just feel it. And don't be surprised if the Jets surprise all of us and beat the Oilers in the first division playoffs round. So next round, this is gonna be a series of the ages. The last time, I don't remember the last time the Oilers played the Leafs in the playoffs, and it was probably in the finals in the 70s and 80s with Wendell Clark and Wayne Gretzky. That's the last time they played in the playoffs, and this time they'll play for the divisional championship. And I think, hands down, the Leafs are a better team than the Oilers, because the Leafs have had the Oilers' numbers in the regular season the last couple of years. But regular season is different. Playoffs is another level, and that's the beast level. But I still feel the Leafs will get out of their slump, their playoff slump. They haven't won a playoff round since 2004, but I think it's time for them to play well. And I'm not saying only Matthews and the Martiners and the Nylanders are gonna have to play well. Everyone has to play well. Everyone, from Joe Thornton to Jason Spezza to Travis Dermott to the goaltending, everyone has to play well. And they gotta keep up on Connor McDavid and Draisaitl, because like this, McDavid will have a hat trick. Like that, Draisaitl will have a hat trick, and you gotta contain him. But I still think the Leafs will win. Against the Edmonton Oilers. And so the Leafs will be the divisional championship. And so they will wait until the East Division plays. So which we will go now to the East Division, presented by Mass Mutual. So the number 1 seeded Pittsburgh Penguins will play the Islanders in the playoffs once again. They have played in 3 consecutive seasons in the playoffs. And then the Caps will play the Bruins, which is a rivalry. It's been a rivalry since 2010. So let's start with the Crosby Penguins play the Islanders. And you know the Islanders have had the Penguins' numbers, but this season the Penguins have been playing much better on both ends on the ice. And you know goaltending could be some question marks, but still Pittsburgh Penguins are a better team than they've been the last 2 years, especially last year after losing to a 10th place team. But I got the Penguins winning in 6. The reason why is because the Islanders are no joke, and the Islanders have had the Penguins' numbers in the playoffs. So we'll see what will happen, but I think the Pittsburgh Penguins will have that extra goal, that extra block, that extra save to win in those games, because I feel it won't be a blowout games. It will be close games. So Penguins advance to the East Division Championship game, as they will play the winner of the Washington Capitals and the Boston Bruins. So I think this game, matchup will be nice to see. We know what the Capitals since 2010 is losing and choking in the playoffs, and the only time they didn't choke is when they won a couple of years ago. But I still think the Bruins are much better than Washington Capitals. Even the Capitals have former Bruins, Dino Chera, even though if he has TJ Oshie, Alexander Ovechkin. But I still feel the Boston Bruins will win in a surprising 5 games. And don't be surprised if the Caps surprise me or us like the Jets. But I still think the Bruins are the better team. Now, for the divisional championship game, it's gonna be nice to see. But as a Leaf fan, I don't want to face Boston Bruins again. I do not want. I do not want to face them. But even though, if Leafs play the Bruins, in which we will talk in just a second, it'll begin because it's the final. It's the East final. The winner will go to the Stanley Cup final. But we will see. But now Penguins against the Bruins. This is going to be a great match. It's going to be a great matchup as the Pens are looking for revenge over the Bruins because the Bruins have had their match, have had them in the playoffs regular season in both franchise history. And is Crosby Malkin still that great? Or is the Boston Bruins, their grit and grind, still the best in the league? And it is. And I think Boston will win it against the Pittsburgh Penguins, which leads to a matchup we hate to see is the Leafs and Bruins. As a Leaf fan, we don't want to face them again. But as a Leafs player in like in their position, they want to face the Bruins because they want to end that drought. They want to show that we're the best team in the East. And I still think the Leafs will make the Stanley Cup final. And everyone thinks that I am crazy or as Leaf fans are crazy, but we are good this season. We're not like the years before. Because the years before is we play good for 5 games, lose 5 games good, lose, win, lose. So it's not that great. So the championship for the East Division is the Boston Bruins. But now, the thing is that I thought the Leafs would play the Bruins, but it looks like the North Championship will play the West. We'll see. Well, like I don't even. We'll see when we make the semifinal selections. So now the conference final selection. So now we'll go to the West Division as the President Trophy winners will play the struggling Blues, and then Vegas will play the Wild. And this doesn't need any more statements or segments. I think the Colorado Avalanche will beat the Blues in 4 clean sweep. And for the Vegas and the Wild, I think the Vegas will win in a clean sweep as well. This is no question about it. But the real question is between the President Trophy winners and the former President Trophy winners. I mean, the former runner-ups for the finals a couple of years ago. And I think this will be a great series to see. But as I told you, is it Colorado Avalanche team? Do you think they still got it after choking last season? Or is the Vegas Golden Knights continue the red hot start to the league? They joined back. They joined in the league. And I think Vegas, they have more strength than the Avs. But the Avs have better goaltending. No, not better goaltending because I think Fleury is better than what the Avs have in net. But I think the Avs are faster. They have better scores. Vegas, they all have role players. But that's why I feel that the Vegas Golden Knights will beat the Avs. It will be a close game because both teams are good defensively and are good offensively. But the problem is Avs have stars. Vegas don't have stars. They have role players. But the problem is that the Avs, other than your two lines, the rest are a bunch of nobodies, which is why. And Vegas have experienced Stanley Cup champion Marc-Andre Fleury, former Penguin, which I feel the Penguins should have kept Fleury. Now they lost Murray and they lost Fleury. So Vegas will be the champion for the West Division, and don't be surprised if the Avs management all get fired after winning the President's Trophy and losing to a team that don't have huge stars. Maybe you say Pacioretty, but he's not a star. So last but not least, the Central Division. So first, the Carolina Hurricanes will play the Preds, and that don't need any segments at all. And the Tampa Bay Lightning will play the Panthers. I think Carolina will clean sweep the Preds easy. And for the Panthers and Lightning, I still think the Lightning will shock everybody and sweep the Florida Panthers. Because the Florida Panthers are great, but they're facing the defending champs. And yes, the Lightning have had injuries all season. But this series is gonna be nice to see because both teams between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Tampa Bay Lightning are good teams that have been playing super well on the season. But when you look it down on paper, the Lightning are much better on all ends of the ice. And I still feel the Lightning will win. So now we got the final, the conference final. The winner will reach the Stanley Cup final, and then we'll debate the Stanley Cup champion. So now the Vegas Golden Knights will play the Boston Bruins, and both teams, they're like same, except Boston have stars, experienced stars, and Vegas have role players and great goaltending. And it's sad to know that the Boston Bruins will reach the finals because I don't see Vegas beating Boston, and I still think Boston will beat Vegas, which leads to a Toronto and Tampa Bay match. And I still feel that the Toronto Maple Leafs could have a chance to beat Lightning. Why? Because the Lightning haven't been fully healthy this season. The Leafs have had great games against the Lightning, and also the Lightning have had great games against the Leafs. But I think the Leafs will beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, which leads to a matchup I hate to see, that I never want to see, between the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this will be a great matchup, which will go into 7. But I still feel the Leafs will come NHL champ for the first time since 1967. And all those haters can stop telling me, oh, the Leafs haven't won the cup in 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. But now we are champs, and I still feel we can win in the champs. And I still think that the goal score will be between 19 goals. And that's my selection, as the Leafs will win the title. But guys, thanks for tuning in. We will post this segment on all your favorite music platforms, and make sure to tune in, share, subscribe on YouTube, and donate us. Thanks. and follow on all of our platforms.